Well. Hello, everyone. Sorry, there's a bit of a delay there as I was trying to switch over to this full cam view. I changed the freaking name of my scene, and apparently that's enough to disconnect the thing on my stream deck. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about. This is going to bother me to no end, so let me take care of this right now. Welcome, guys. Mark, thank you for being the first one. I've already gone ahead and extended my PP to you. No context needed for that phrase. But yes, I've given you 300 PPs, Markman. Thank you for being the first one in the chat. Welcome, guys. It's what? Day 83? Day 83 of my live streaming career. We'll call it a career. But yes, the 83rd day. Wow, amazing. What does that mean? I ask this every single time. I still have no idea what that means, but it just means that we've been consistent, okay? It means we've been dedicated, we've been focused. We have not given up is the other thing. So, yeah, that's where we stand. Now, give me a second, guys. I'm just fiddling around. I have to change... Do I have to change the title of this, maybe? The scene. Okay. Main camera. There we go. And then, is that it? So let's say if I hop over, and then if I go back... Okay, we're good. Wow, I was complaining about such a simple fix. I'm sorry, guys. Welcome, guys. It's going to be a fun stream. It's a bit late, admittedly. I'm a few hours behind on when I normally would start streaming. However, it's for good reason, always. If there's one thing you should know, I don't think I barely take breaks. I think I'm always on the go. Like, I'm always working on something for the most part. I do take my chest breaks here and there. I do stop to like pet my cats, maybe lounge on my couch for a minute. So there are moments like that, but generally speaking, I am kind of on the grind, if you will. We're a man on a mission. So yeah, I started late today just because there's so much other stuff I had to take care of behind the scenes, including trying to finish my taxes. My god. Ugh. I think it was like just a few days ago when I was talking about, yes, I'm a patriotic American, but I never feel less patriotic than when I have to think about how much money I give to the freaking government, even though I don't live in the States anymore, okay? I'm paying taxes out the asshole for all the things that I don't get to make use of back home in the US of A. Anyway, sorry guys, I'm going on a tangent. Daytor, what's up? Guten Abend. And also, do German people, do they speak with a sing-song? Is it like Guten Abend? Or am I mixing up something else? Am I mixing up some other people? If you took offense to that, I'm sorry. Markman says, it looks like the Nikon ZR has become the most polarizing. Ooh, interesting. The most polarizing camera. Went from hype to disappointment to some. Interesting. Well, I hope it won't be for me. I'm waiting for it, obviously. Well, I don't know when I'll receive mine, to be honest. But I do hope that people feel strongly about it. I think the only things that I've seen where people wish it was better would be around the H.265. So when you're shooting in like the not in the RAW format or in the log format, but when you're shooting in like a lower resolution, I guess, or different codec. Sometimes people I've seen aren't as happy with the color science, let's say. But to be honest with you, I didn't even play with it a single time. Did I? When I took it out for my trip, I basically was like treating it as like, look, I want to use the 3 days that I have with the camera to shoot the best documentary I can. So I just shot everything in RAW, like in the red codec RAW files. So I don't know. You tell me, Mark. I stepped a little bit away from watching some of these YouTube videos. So I'm curious what the disappointment could be. Hopefully it's not something where it's like, oh, yeah, actually I have no idea what the other kind of major levels of disappointment might be. But generally speaking, I feel like I agree with you. It is probably going to be a very polarizing camera. And I think I've had a discussion about this the other day, but one of the things that I think it was the smartest thing Nikon did, maybe in hindsight, I don't know, but it's the price point. To have priced it so low, I think it kind of makes it more forgiving if there are some, let's call it rough edges that need to be smoothed out. But honestly, I have no idea. I don't have it in front of me. I only have the brief time that I've had using the camera. And I personally was blown away But I've never shied away from the fact that like I'm coming from like an amateur level going up. So like to have my typical cameras that I use as a hybrid shooter to then be able to use this, you know, cinema level kind of stuff, it was fantastic. Because of the word cinema too, says Markman. Dator says better and better. What, my German accent? Okay, good to know. But yes, guys, so starting the stream a little bit late. I'll probably stream for about 3 to 4 hours, most likely. Tomorrow's a big day for me, apparently. So, speaking of Nikon ZR stuff, there is a Nikon event tomorrow. So, I alluded to it before, but essentially, Nikon, I think, is doing some kind of special event where they're going to be showcasing a number of the videos that were made using the Nikon ZR from like the different creators who got access to it, you know, prior to the launch and whatever else. And so, of course, they had invited me to the event, and it looks like they're going to be playing my video on a big screen. So I'm quite excited. I'm a little bit nervous though, to be honest with you, because this is the first time I had to export the file into some kind of cinema quality format. It's called like DCP, DCI scope something something. So I don't know, there's like 1,000 things that can go wrong, because like basically I export it into this very, very specific, you know, DCP something something, and the way it gets exported, you can't actually watch the video. You can't see the actual file because it gets like broken up into a bunch of meta files, and it's, I guess, compatible for like those big theater projectors or whatever they use. So I'm just hoping that the colors and everything are fine and the audio. Otherwise, man, that's going to be embarrassing on a big screen, and then it just looks like shit. So wish me luck. But yeah, Mark, you're saying because of the word cinema too. I'm curious what you mean by that. Because in my opinion, I think it was very cinema quality. But like I said, it's in a price point that makes it almost like hard to pass up. How could you pass up a camera that's got a bunch of these like cinema features, some which other cameras that are much more expensive don't have, including that 4-inch display. Sorry. My God, I need to like blow my nose or something. Give me a second, guys. My final evening was spent enjoying scenes of locals playing hockey and relaxing on the frozen lake. Reflecting on my time here, I appreciated the breathtaking scenery, the professionalism of the crew, and of course, the wildlife. While the challenging weather conditions made sightings tough, Leh is definitely a place I'm looking forward to revisiting, to spend more time in the wild, but also with the people of this beautiful place. Like kids playing ice hockey on a frozen lake, life is best when you chase the little moments, losing yourself fully in the spaces in between. And that's what my time in Leh reminded me. Testing. How's my phlegminess, my chest? Kristen says, "Oh man, not the first." Yo, Kristen, welcome back. Always appreciate your presence. Kristen, was there something? I remember last time you were here, there was some event or something you're doing. Was it like one of your kids' birthdays or something? But anyways, hopefully you had a wonderful past few days or the start of your week. I forgot today's a Tuesday. But yeah, thanks for being here. But you are not the first. The first was actually Markman05. Mark, you said, I do too. I think there are a lot of amazing things in the ZR, and for the price, it is crazy. Yeah. Listen, I have no idea what the buzz is, because at least in my algorithm or in my YouTube feed or whatever, it's still showing a bunch of people super excited about it. But yeah, I can only hope that that continues as more and more shooters get to have it in their hands and test it out. But yeah. Because like in my world, I would only assume that if I shot with a pre-production unit, it should mean, right, that by the time they have the product for launch, the quality should only be better, is my assumption. So if somehow the pre-production unit that I shot with ends up being better than the one that's actually for production, that would be hilarious. Not in a good way either. Kristen, you said chaperoning my daughter's field trip. That's what it was. Or yeah, I remember you mentioned. I forgot what the activity was. I think you said it was like your first time doing it or something. But yeah, how did it go? Nobody, nobody got hurt. They want you back to chaperone more. Can you put it on your resume when you're running for what did you say you're running for again? What was like the I forget these terminologies, but in the meantime, I think my congestion will never go away, unfortunately. Maybe I should go to a doctor for that. I'm about to like, is there a word for this? Is it hypochondriac? Hypochondriac? Who are those people who like go to a doctor for everything, or they think they have everything? Is that a hypochondriac? Guten Abend, Amber. What is the word to describe someone who thinks they're always struck with every illness or symptoms and they go to doctors constantly? The word that comes to mind is like something about hypochondriac or something. What do you think?
Guten Abend. Yep, you're spot on. The word you're looking for is indeed hypochondriac. It's basically someone who's really anxious about their health and often convinced they have illnesses even when they're perfectly fine. And yeah, they tend to visit doctors a lot just to get things checked out. So you got the right term for it.
Sometimes I'm just such a smart cookie, you know? I just know things. I know words, okay? I know Guten Abend. I know hypochondriac, although to be fair, I did say hyperchondriac, I think. Kristen, you said we had fun. The other kids were also cute as well. School board, yeah, that's what it was. Running for school board. How many, did I ask you already this? How many people are on the board? And if you win, how many years, or do you have to run every year to stay on the board? And then what's higher than the board? Like, where do you go from there? Do you then become like senior school board, or is there like president level? Or yeah, I'm curious. Where do you go from there? Hypochondriac thinks they are sick and dying all the time. Gotcha. I don't necessarily feel that way. I'm more of the type that feels like if I die, when I die, I'm cool with it. So whatever that bucket is it like, but not to say in a depressing way. I'm just like, yeah, it is what it is. Mark says it is. I'm a CNA at a nursing home, and there's a resident that has dementia and is a hypochondriac, so is constantly asking to go to the ER and the doctors. Ooh, okay. I wonder if there's a way you can play those two together. Wait, do people who have dementia, are they the ones, who am I thinking of? Who are the ones that have like split personalities? Because like, I don't know where I'm going with this. I was going to say like, can you somehow convince them to conjure up a split personality that is a doctor? And so then he can just constantly speak to himself as if he's seeing the doctor? Okay, I have no idea. That's probably very offensive, or I'm sure I'm saying something that's like, you know, what the hell? Kristen says there are 7 seats on the school board and 4 vacant seats. Gotcha. Why 4? Or what do you mean? Like, as in they all quit? Or, I'm asking all these questions. You don't have to answer, by the way, but we can ask ChatGPT too. But that sounds interesting. Markman says, sounds like a Batman villain. Well, there must be, in the whole world of all the comics and everything, there must be some character who has a split personality where one of them is a villain and one of them is like some superhero. Let's ask ChatGPT. Amber, I'm curious, in the world of comics, is there some character out there that has a split personality where one personality is evil and is one of the villains, but then the other personality is the superhero?
Oh, absolutely. That kind of character definitely pops up in stories. One of the classic examples is kind of a twist on the idea of having 2 sides in one person. You might think of something like a Jekyll and Hyde scenario, although they're not exactly hero and villain in the traditional sense. But in a more superhero context, sometimes you do have characters who have sort of a dual personality, where one side is heroic and the other side is more of a villainous alter ego. It's a fun trope that definitely shows.
I just wanted you to give me an actual character name. I understand the trope. I'm saying, like, is there a character?
Oh, got it. You're looking for a specific character name. One well-known example is actually from the Marvel Universe, the character Moon Knight. He has dissociative identities, and one of his personalities is definitely more of a heroic persona, while another can be more ruthless or morally ambiguous. It's not exactly a straight hero-villain split.
I know of Moon Knight, or I watched that whole thing, or I watched that season. I thought it was pretty good, but I don't remember it ever being like there's one that's actually evil. You know what I mean? Like, is there any... someone in the chat mentioned Two-Face, but I thought Two-Face was just... started out a good guy and then through the accident turned into an evil person. Actually, I don't remember much about Two-Face. But, yeah, is there like an actual character that literally is the evil villain and then flips over to becoming the superhero and they're not aware of the switch? And like, so then they're like chasing after each other, or like, you know, it's never ending. Anyways, give me a character. There must be one, right?
Yeah, I see what you're getting at. It's kind of like you want that perfect scenario where the hero and villain are literally the same person, but they're unaware of each other.
It's not what I want. I just want to know, is there an existing character, and what is the name of that character?
Gotcha. Let me just give you a name. So one character that fits pretty closely to that idea is actually a DC character called Jason Blood and Etrigan the Demon. Basically, Jason Blood is this human who turns into Etrigan, who is a demon with a pretty dark and villainous streak. So they kind of share the same body, and one side is more heroic, while the other is definitely more of a villain. It's not exactly your typical superhero, but it's a good example of that duality where the villain and the hero are kind of the same person in a way. So yeah, Jason Blood is a pretty good name to pin on that concept.
But is this demon actually like evil, or is this just one of those kind of typical, they're kind of like Venom, right? Where it's like they seem pretty rough around the edges, but they're not truly evil.
Yeah, that's a good point. Etrigan is kind of like that. He's definitely a demon, and he's got a lot of those rough around the edges traits, but he's not always purely evil. It's more like he's a chaotic force who sometimes ends up on the side of good, depending on...
Okay, she's failing me. She's failing me so hard. I just wanted a actual... like an actual evil character and an actual good character in one person, just split personality, right? There must be. I know the trope's been done, I'm sure, in like different cartoon stuff. Kristen says split personality is not dementia. Dementia is memory problems. Gotcha. But if dementia is memory problems, could you not say that in some ways you're having split personality? Like the personality that you are... or like if you don't remember certain moments in your life, couldn't you say that that is like a different person altogether then? If you don't ever remember saying those things, could it somehow turn into like a you don't exist, or like it's a separate personality? I don't know. I'm spitballing here, okay? Dexter, but then Dexter is also, I guess that just basically, I'm not trying to find like a morally ambiguous character or someone in the gray zone. Because my understanding of Dexter is like he's a sociopath, or yeah, he's one of those paths, right? Where he doesn't like have true emotions or whatever. He's got bloodlust, but he uses it for quote unquote good, in the sense that like he just goes after other serial killers or murderers, right? So it's like this weird like. Should you or should you not condone it kind of a question that's being asked. I'm talking like straight up, this dude is evil. But then the irony is that when he switches personalities, then he's like this pure, you know, Batman character versus like the Joker or whatever. Anyway, sorry, this is such a random conversation. I don't mean to drag us into, because I'm not the right person to have this conversation. But yeah, if there isn't a character, we should create one ourselves. But yeah, I feel like Two-Face would be the name Two-Face feels like it should be that exactly. But in another sense, it wouldn't work, because the whole point is that nobody knows. None of the characters, nobody outside knows that the villain and the superhero are actually one and the same, right? So it's like this always like cat and mouse type situation. And of course, they're never able to confront each other, and nobody else seems to realize either. Anyways, You're describing something like delusions. That's a symptom of dementia. They may be 80, but they think they are still a teen, and that they need to hurry home because it's dark out. Dang, that's kind of depressing. Yeah, well, here's to hopefully... every once in a while, I feel like I hear that there's some Marvel drug that's being created or is like promising that should hopefully solve for like Alzheimer's or other things. So fingers crossed. What was the latest thing that I saw in the news? Someone, was it in Asia? Was it like Taiwan or somewhere? Some scientists have figured out some serum that supposedly reverses balding entirely, at least in mice. Serum reverses balding entirely. Business Standard, Times of India, Daily Mail. I don't know what's reputable. Let's just go with the top one here. Hair today, not gone tomorrow. New serum may make baldness reversible. In Taiwan. Okay, so I was fairly close. What did I say? I said Asia. Researchers in Taiwan have created a natural serum that triggers rapid hair regrowth by stimulating fat cells. A breakthrough that could soon make baldness reversible. Interesting, interesting. How is this different from... Okay, anyways. I didn't actually want to read a research paper. I just wanted to know, did I read the headlines correct? Kristen, he said, in this field is called a behavior. Gotcha. Have you seen Severance on Apple TV? Yo, I really liked Severance. I need... Okay, as an aspiring filmmaker, every once in a while I would see on social media some of how they shot the scenes, and it was so cool. Like the behind the scenes of like, they have some like machines, like they have rigs that kind of like automatically rotates around the subject. And when he's like one of the characters sprinting down the hallways and they show how they filmed it, it looked like so much fun to be able to film. It's, oh man, the people in the film industry, what I wouldn't give to like spend like years shadowing them and just learning from them, because some of these people are like the most creative people I've ever seen. So, and if I could apply that to my own craft, obviously that'd be great. Kristen said that funding for Alzheimer's research was cut in the U.S. thanks to Musk. You know what? I heard about that. But it was like one of many things that got cut. Unfortunately, it's like so depressing to hear. It's like, why would you want to stifle progress in the name of like fear, or yeah. I don't know. It's a bit depressing in some ways, because like, yeah. You don't think it's going to bite you in the ass, but then imagine we could live in a world. I mean, there's too many ifs, right? But if you were to say like, what is the harm in putting more money into researching for cures to diseases, just researching like scientific research, right? Because you never know, like the amount of times I hear stories about like, do you know how this was invented? And it's like, well, it actually started by a research grant that was studying something completely random, and from that research it then led to this discovery, which is now this thing that everyone uses every day. And it's like the amount of times you hear those stories, and it all starts from a research grant. It starts from funding that was provided through schools or universities or through the government that leads to all of the innovations that we've got. And it's like, wouldn't you just want more money into that, not less? In the same way, it's everyone always says, it's pretty common sense to be like, don't you want more money in education and like the education system, not less? And then the argument's always like, oh, the money's being used ineffectively or like inefficiently, or it's being wasted. But it's like, okay, well, prove the waste. And if you can prove the waste, and you're saying we're going to save this much money, where does that money then go to? Or I don't know. It's like, why cut things entirely instead of improving them? There's just so much. Anyways, not to say we have to talk about all that, but children's cancer research was also cut. It's super depressing. Yeah. Okay, listen, we're getting a little too depressing. What are we going to do today that's hopefully less depressing? Well, yesterday we finished kind of hand selecting, if you will, a number of footages that I think should work for my upcoming review video on Dehancer. So I kind of pulled from a number of my hard drives to look at some of the shots that I have taken from the past couple years. And so we've lined up a number of these shots. It's a mix of like wildlife. So we got this, we got this, I forget what you call this owl. We got this tiny little owl. So maybe we'll use a quick cut from here where you see it take off. So we need to color grade everything, right? So we got this one. We got this gorilla when he yawns. So we can take a moment there. We got this beautiful, I believe it's called an Appaloosa horse from my time in Zimbabwe. We have a bunch of those, so we're going to pick from one of these. Then I have some shots from Vietnam. So basically, I just want an assortment of footages that I've captured showing different lighting situations, different subjects, whether it's people versus wildlife, silhouettes, whatever else, right? Sunset, sunrise times. And then from this, let's go ahead and like try to see how Dehancer will improve the footage. And then off stream, I will then choose whichever ones we have the best results or the most unique results that I should put into my review. And yeah, then I'll recreate it, screen record everything, and yeah, make it into a proper review. So you can see we got a bunch of these cool little shots. So we're going to actually spend the time to go through each one. Let's do a bit of color grading, see how Dehancer can make the shot look even better is the hope, right? So, and I know for sure I want to use this shot, or at least this train shot, because like how cool is this, right? Think about we got all the good colors coming through. We'll slow motion it, stabilize, and then just to have it pop through and then have a subject come in, change focus. Yeah, I think it was one of my favorite shots that I captured, and this is from Vietnam. So anyways, we got a bunch of things, right? The Mao Wow says he's back. I'm always back. What are you talking about? Well, I can't say that I'm here every day, but I do my best to be here every stream. I won't be here tomorrow though. So I was mentioning there's an event hosted by I think Nikon, and so they're going to be playing a number of the videos that were made using the Nikon ZR prior to the launch, and so they're going to be playing it in a cinema. So it's going to be fun. You know, they told me to dress up, and then they're going to be playing my 5-minute documentary film on the big screen. So hopefully it looks good and all that, but I'm kind of excited to see how it looks. Man, why does Kick have so many Kick is just like so annoying. Hold on, I gotta figure out how to ban. We keep getting these annoying spammers trying to scam people. Let me ban a few words here. Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, there we go. Kristen says you got to get those reds to pop in that train one. Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do today. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun stream. I'm super excited because we get to look at all these random footages, and it's not gonna be all chimpanzees anymore. I'm sure you guys must be sick and tired of seeing chimp this and chimp that. You know, all the chimp clips. Now we get to mix it up, get a bit different coloring in here, get some cultural shots, get some, different animal shots. This shot should also be pretty cool because just like the way it got split in terms of the colors, because then here you got all this nice like blue tones right at dusk, and then you have all these warm tones on the other side. So it kind of split nicely. So I'm curious how the color grading can look for that. So yeah, we got a bunch of these fun little shots with unique colors to play with. And then the goal is going to be, after we go through each of these, we're also then going to see which ones make the most sense to use in like a product review. Now, before I get started on that, a few things let me make sure to do. First, let me just get rid of all the audio. We don't need audio for this. We're just focusing on the video side. These are some of the clips that I copied over from the chimp shots, obviously. So these ones, I think some of these I applied Dehancer to. And so either way, I want to, reapply them if needed, because obviously I want to use some of this in the Dehancer review. And then Mongolia. Mongolia is the missing piece. And I guess I should just start from scratch, because I have all my Mongolia footages, but those were shot in Apple ProRes, or I'd exported it into Apple ProRes So I'm thinking maybe I should just start with all raw files and then show how Dehancer works on all of it. Potentially. Or, or I could show a bunch of these where I'm editing and I have Dehancer within DaVinci Wide Gamut color space. And then I can have some examples where I show Dehancer for Rec 709. But that doesn't really make a difference. Yeah, it's like a difference that doesn't really, what did you say, difference without a distinction or something? Kristen says, not me getting tired of looking at chimps. My screensaver for my Roku is monkey pictures, different breeds of primates. Well, then you're in luck, Kristen, because we got chimps today. We got gorillas. Actually, that's it. I don't think I have any other primate stuff. Well, I guess we have people shots as well, but I would never call them monkeys. Just me. Okay, so before we truly get started, let me do one more pass through. Let me find the Mongolia shots. Where would it be? Ah, there it is. Okay. Let me just try to find a few shots from Mongolia that could work for the color grading. So probably something like this, but I think we have, let me find my hero shots. Which ones were my hero shots? Oh, for sure there's the one where he's smoking a cigarette in the blizzard. One of these kind of shots I think could be nice. Okay, let's keep looking. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I am excited to get back into just going through all my travel vlogs. Looking through all these footages from past trips, I'm so excited. You guys get to see a little bit of the inside scoop, because obviously none of this have been really posted on my socials. I share a bit of it onto my Instagram stories, but we're like a year and a half behind in terms of sharing my experiences. So that is one of the benefits of watching these live streams, is you get the inside scoop of what it's been like for me to travel the world, to whatever countries, the experiences I've had, the cultural, what do you call it, enlightenment. Okay, so let me just drag a few of these guys in. Maybe one of these. Maybe this one. Maybe this one. Doo-doo. Oh yeah, we got the 4 ponies. Although this one might not work for testing Dehancer. Could it? I don't know. It's like a washed out, blown out white snow scene. What's up, Low Bass? Low Bass says, how is you? I is good. How about you? Good to see you, Low Bass. Oh, Low Bass. One other thing, I'm not ready to test it out here because I think I have to update my overlays and stuff. But there was someone, I think part of the TWCC community, the web creative, what was her name? Anna of All Crafts, is that what it was? Yeah, Anna of All Crafts. So again, shout out to Anna of All Crafts. She had rated us the other day. But she also introduced me to the concept of Pomodoro. And I've gone ahead and downloaded, or I got access to, what do they call it? One of these like co-working bots. So it's called Super Sweet Bot. And so essentially it like creates an overlay, and I didn't even know this concept existed on Twitch, but I guess there's a concept of like co-working. And so where you set a timer and then people can collectively add their tasks, and then it shows up on this like overlay. And so it's like you're co-working with your audience, I guess. And then anyway, so then I never heard of this concept. I was like, what? So then, yeah, so apparently you use this bot, and then people can like do exclamation mark something something to be able to add their own task list, or their own task. And then it gets loaded into this universal task list, which shows up on stream. And then there's a timer. So then whenever you click on the timer or something like that, it kind of sets it off for everyone. So then I guess the goal is like you're supposed to be productive for 25 minutes or however long the timer is. And then when it ends, you can take a break. I don't know. It was something like that where I was like, oh, interesting. I didn't know the concept existed. I've gone ahead and gotten access to it. And we'll see. I need to figure out a way to add it to my stream overlay without it kind of crowding up the space. Because obviously right now, the way I have the setup, I've got this big screen so you guys have a better view into what I'm editing. And then off to the right, I have like the little chat box, our little webcam for my cat and me. So the one issue I have is I don't actually have space to put that task list without either shrinking the editing screen. So yeah, unfortunately that's what I'm dealing with. But I am excited. Is it this one? Oh yeah, this shot. Let's bring this in. And of course, our iconic snowstorm galloping shot. Okay, we'll get one more shot and then let's get started. Who is Shafat uses that bot? Oh, yeah. I think I saw his name in there as well. Yeah. Listen, I have no idea. I was just like, I heard about it yesterday and she introduced me to it. And I'm pretty sure she's part of TWCC because there was like some shout out that came up right after, which I read when she did the raid. But yeah. Can you imagine if I go to my therapist session, or not my therapist, my psychiatry appointment? Oh wait, low base. I forget if you were here when I said I've officially got a psychiatrist appointment set up in a few days from now. All raiders are shouted out even if they're not a team member. Oh, okay. I didn't realize. Oh. Well, either way. Yeah, so I'm going to see a psychiatrist to hopefully determine if or if not what is my prognosis. Am I going to be diagnosed with ADHD? The question everyone wants to know, I'm sure. But can you imagine I go to my psychiatrist and be like, hey, you know what? I don't think I need this diagnosis anymore. I've discovered Pomodoro and I'm 10 times more productive now. Thanks, though, for your time. That would be awesome. Oh, maybe one of these shots. Okay, this shot, maybe we'll drag this in. Oh yeah, let's grab maybe one of these shots. Okay, and this one. Okay, do I have a golden eagle close-up shot? Maybe like, yeah, I can grab a still from here. Okay, let's drag this in. Let's see if there's one more. Yeah, I think we got the best ones. All right. So I think we've got our collection. Let me just make sure now to grab the ones I just... Is it this one? No. Let me find... Here you are. Is it all of this? Oh no. Oh, I made my life more difficult. Okay. We'll just do one at a time. So this one. This one. This one. Not this. That one. Yo, what was I thinking? I just assumed that it would all just be lumped in together, but they're all separated. Was that it? Ah, we still have more. Woe is me. Okay, now I think that was it. I hope. Cool. So now we have all of our key shots. Is that right? Yes. So let's go delete the space in between. Kristen says, heading out for a bit. Got to get my boy to the doctor today. I think he has strep. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, hopefully it's nothing serious and fast improvements in recovery. Have a productive evening, says Kristen. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for stopping through here. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Low Base says, I finally found a somewhat decent AI email client that works cross-account platform. Huh. I feel like you know all of the AI stuff. Well, let us know if it actually does a good job. Kavai is in the chat. Kavaiatsu says, sup bro, with my epic sup bro chimpanzee emote. Thank you for using it, by the way. I appreciate it. It's been a while. I need to use my own emotes. I need to create new emotes too. I need to do all the animated stuff. Kavai says, have you checked out the... Is that the flag for Norway? Oh no. Here, don't flame me. Let me just figure out, what is that flag? I'm just gonna guess Norway. Yep, looks accurate. Have you checked out the Norway YouTube collective Nikon Europe? And is the ZR the C50 and FX3 killer? Is that the name of the like a YouTube video? I have not. I have not seen that video. Or are you asking me, is the ZR the C50 and FX3 killer? If you're asking me that, honestly, I have no idea. I couldn't really say just because I've never tried either of those other ones, right? So I wouldn't be the best person to explain or listen to for that. Happy with so far. It's called Canary. All right, let's check this out. Canary AI. Hospitality AI. Say goodbye to the morning break brain fog. Just press the magic button. Canary will do the rest. All right. I need an AI for tax returns. Now that is something would change my life. Kavai's asking, and Nikon Europe has some good ZR videos. Yeah, Nikon Europe, I feel like they got some good talent there. I know one of them, Michele Bavassano. He was a former Canon shooter. I actually attended some of his workshops. I think I went to 2 of his workshops. One in Italy, one in Finland. So he's like an amazing wildlife photographer. I think he's got over 1 million subs on Instagram. And yeah, he was a Canon shooter, but then he actually switched over to Nikon and became a Nikon ambassador, if I'm not mistaken. And his, I don't know, I don't follow closely what's happened, but at the time, his girlfriend, I'm assuming, I would assume they're still together, but his girlfriend is also an amazing photographer. Sharon Vanadia, amazing wildlife photographer as well. I think she might still be with Canon or something. I have no idea. But yeah, like the Nikon Europe team of like photographers, they're like definitely super impressive, I would say. yeah, what's her name? I think I was mentioning there's someone called Roxy the zoologist or something like that. I've never met her, but someone I've traveled with has, and he said she was like super talented, but also just like a really friendly person in person. And I could say the same for Michele and Sharon. What can we say? The Nikon, Nikon shooters, we're all just like the best people, just all around people you want to hang out with, you trust your kids with, that kind of stuff. And can you put a price on that? I didn't think so. Okay, enough fooling around. We have all of our footages. Let's just start with the gorilla at the very front. Yeah, we'll just start here. So, what do we need to do? Well, I believe all of these are shot in Nikon RAW, so NRAW. We've already done the color correction, or we did this color space transform. So it's really just like double checking, seeing if we need to do any color correction stuff. I think this one looks fairly good. Like, I don't really think there's much to do here. Besides, maybe, do we need to lift the blacks just a bit, maybe, here? So let's see if I remember how to do this properly. A few methods, but we're going to go into the HDR. We'll go into the global wheel and just lift the exposure a bit. We can also just lift the bottom of this curve. Okay. Oh, you know what? But we don't want to start with this one. Or let me move things around. Because I think I have a better gorilla clip, which is this one here. So we're going to delete that in a second. Actually, let's just delete it now. And we're going to take the quick yawn moment here. Yeah. And excuse me as I send a quick message. So I mentioned, yeah, so there's like a Nikon event tomorrow. Hi. Double checking. Is everything good to go with the video? And anything I need to bring for tomorrow? It is tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Okay. Okay. Let's get started then. So I'm going to take this guy and let's just make some very, very quick adjustments here to the color correction. Generally speaking, I think it looks fine, but it's obviously a little bit too overexposed. So we'll just go into this global exposure, drop it down. Honestly, that's like good enough, really. I'm trying not to do too many, like, I'm trying to see, can we use Dehancer for everything outside of color correction? Or, I mean, we could use it for color correction as well, but I want like a steady baseline for everything. So basically the assumption I'm going to make is like, hey, as you watch my Dehancer review and as we use some test footages, I want you to understand that when I applied Dehancer, it was after all of the color corrections were done, so then the shot was fairly neutrally balanced, let's say. So that way it should be a bit more comparable, or there's some way to compare for anyone else to use Dehancer, as long as you are color correcting your own footage, and then everything I'm doing should follow with that, if that made sense. Probably not. Okay, so then I have a node here for Dehancer. So let's assume, let's just double check. So this Dehancer node is prior to my Rec 709 conversion. So as we see, Dehancer is placed here. It's putting in the input source correctly, which is the DaVinci Resolve wide gamut intermediate. And everything should be turned off. So now it's up to me to flip some switches. So what are we going to do? The first thing I will do is turn on the, where is it? the print profile. Actually, let's ask this to ChatGPT, because I think normally you would start from the top here, but let's see. I feel like I've seen other videos that don't do it this way. Amber, when it comes to using Dehancer, do most professionals, what is the first step they take besides, like, making sure the input is correct? Let's say in my case to DaVinci wide gamut intermediate color space. Is the first step that they take is choosing a film stock profile, or is it that they choose the print profile first?
Yeah, so with Dehancer, once you've got your color space set up correctly, like you mentioned, typically the first creative step most people do is pick a film stock profile. That kind of gives you the overall vibe and the base look that you're going for. And then after that, you might go in and choose a print profile or tweak other settings. So yeah, generally film stock first, and then the print profile comes after.
But can I ask, because I feel like I've seen some people talk about, and you even said that the most popular print profile is Kodak 2383 print film. So if the assumption is that most people prefer the Kodak 2383 print film, would it not make sense then to just choose that up front and then play around with the film stock profile? Or is there a reason why you would still suggest that the film stock profile should be selected first?
Yeah, that's a really fair question, and I totally get the logic. So, the reason why a lot of people still start with the film stock first is because that really defines the core characteristics of the look. It's like choosing the personality of the image first. And then the print profile, even if you know you're going to use something like the Kodak 2383, is more like the finishing touch or the final layer that ties it all together. So, it's kind of like building from the ground up. You start with your film stock to get the base look, and then you apply the print profile to finalize it. But honestly, if you prefer to do it the other way around and it works for you, there's no hard rule. It's just a common workflow that people follow.
Okay, how about we say, let's say we agree with your approach, but then you're implying that the film stock profile does a lot more of the color grading and creative function, hence why you start with that. Is that true what you're saying? So like the film stock profile does a lot more changes to the creative look as opposed to the print profile?
Yeah, exactly. You'd got it. So basically, the film stock profile is like the bigger creative brushstroke. It's the one that really sets the mood, the color tones, the contrast, and kind of the overall vibe of the image. And then the print profile is more like the finishing layer. It does influence the look, but it's a little subtler. It's more about fine tuning and giving it that final kind of print-like polish. So yeah, the film stock is doing more of the heavy lifting creatively, and then the print profile is kind of the final touch.
Are you basing this off of like actual experts? Like if you were to search online, what would come back?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is basically the common guidance that a lot of colorists and folks who use Dehancer talk about. If you were to look it up online or see what other professionals say, you'd find that, yeah, the usual recommended workflow is to start with your film stock because it sets the main creative tone, and then you pick your print profile afterward. So, yeah, that lines up with what you'd find if you went digging around the web.
So then what is the major effects that the print profile normally does that sets it apart from a film stock profile?
Yeah, so the print profile kind of works like the final layer of magic. What it does is it adds that last bit of finesse and a more subtle shift in the way the colors and contrast come together. So a print profile like the Kodak 2383 will give you that cinematic kind of print feel, a little bit of that polished, cohesive look that you get from a traditional film print. It kind of unifies the image, adds a certain tonal response, and just makes it feel like the image is more cohesive and finished. Whereas the film stock profile is doing the heavy lifting in terms of the initial creative style, the print profiles know about that final unified look.
Okay, I guess I'll believe in Amber on this one. I guess it makes sense, generally speaking, just because clearly Dehancer spent a lot of time putting their software in a certain flow, right? So they spent the time to start off with input. So that makes sense. That's a step one. And then generally speaking, it kind of looks like they go top to bottom in terms of what the actual steps might be to emulate film, or what the actual film process might look like in back in the day or whatever. So if that's true, then it probably makes sense that they expect the makers of Dehancer expects you to go top to bottom. So film stock profile is the second step here, or the second drop down stuff. So I guess it does make sense that that's kind of the considered strategy to employ. But then it's like, I think some people just really like that print stock profile, or the print profile, the Kodak 2383. So then it's like, if you know that's the style you like, it also can make sense for you to just jump over there and select it in advance, and then just choose your film stock profile. But I guess for me personally, I'm not like necessarily beholden to any of the profiles. So with that in mind, there's no reason that I'm like locked in saying I have to use Kodak 2383. If Fujifilm 3513 or Kodak Endura glossy paper options, if these guys are a lot better, then I should choose it. So yeah, I guess we go with this approach. It makes sense. All right, so then let's keep checking. Which of these film stock profiles looks the best? Let me let's expand this out a bit just to increase it. I think this is as big as we can make it, right? Yeah. One of the critiques that I have one of the criticisms I have of this app, this plugin, is not the colors, it's just the workflow here. I wish they had some shortcut that allows you to just quickly like use your arrow keys to kind of switch between all of these profiles, because there's so many of them, and it's annoying to have to constantly click on one, and if you don't like it, or just to get to the next one, you have to open this back up and then hover to the next one and keep doing it back and forth. Super annoying. So if there's a way that they can just simply add a shortcut that allows you to switch between them just by pressing up and down, whatever, that would be nice. All right, so in terms of look, I'm looking for something that retains the kind of rich colors of the green. So I mentioned before, but when it comes to the greens, I generally prefer very cool tones, like very wet and dark green, as opposed to like warm. So this one to me is unacceptable because it just makes it look like it's dried out. Jesus. And again, it's like there's so many options here. So to have to just keep doing this stupid thing of like clicking, scrolling down, finding out where you left off, and clicking again. Not the most user-friendly. Dun dun. Also, if they could make it so, because right now they just have it alphabetized, which makes sense in some ways, but I kind of prefer they arrange the order of this based on the actual stylistic change. So if you know that some of these are meant to like warm up your color or like your shot, I kind of prefer they just like relabel and reorder them. So all the ones that are warmer tones start off in this section. Yeah. So like all the black and whites should kind of be categorized a certain way or like lumped together. Okay, so kind of like this one I like. The green is not the right tone of green, but at least it's like much more dense. And we can always change it up a little bit later, but let's see. Okay. This one might be the closest to what I like. But the color I would want changed. Maybe we can use this push-pull. But then the gorilla skin tone looks a little off. See, now I have to go back. This is, yeah, so this is definitely very frustrating about the user interface, whatever. Because also now it's like it requires me to look right, select look left at the image, then look back to the right to click to the right spot, and then look left. So I never get like a real comparison between each of the profiles I choose, unless I like take a mental snapshot. And I'm not like Cam Jansen. Was that her name? Cam Jansen? Who am I thinking about? That was like a children's book character. The name that comes to mind is Cam Jansen, but it was some girl who would say click and she would blink and she'd be able to like take a photograph of the scene. And I think she was a detective. I forget.
Oh, yeah, you got it exactly right. It is Cam Jansen that you're thinking of. She's the kid detective from the children's books, and her whole thing is she says click like a camera, and then she can remember a scene perfectly. So you were spot on. It's Cam Jansen, the detective with the photographic memory.
Green, not yellow, says low base. Yeah, I need the greens, but I'm not getting the right green here, unfortunately. Yeah, because then sometimes I get slightly in the green, but then the gorilla's fur changes too much as well. So this also might not be the best footage to then test out with Dehancer, at least for these color profiles. I could be wrong. Obviously, I want to test it though. Low base, he said, dang, I haven't read those books since I was a kid. Yeah, I remember it was like Cam Jansen, Nancy Drew, the Hardy Boys. I think that was it. But yeah, those are fun books. Hardy Boys. And then South Park had that one episode where they made fun of it. It was like the Hardly Boys? Was that what it was? I don't remember. Oh my god. Maybe there is a shortcut, please. Nope. How can I shortcut between them? I think I discovered something. Okay. This is not like, this is a workaround, but it looks like if I click on the box, leave my mouse there, then I can do the up and down arrows and then hit enter. Okay, thank God. I mean, it's still not the best solution, but at least I can also add this into my review, so I can at least share. So like, here's some nice advice, or good advice, right? Tips and tricks, if you will, if you're using Dehancer. If you want to quickly go between the profiles, just click. Then you can stay in there and just choose up and down and hit enter. Okay. Let me add that to my notes for Dehancer. Dehancer script and then Dehancer review. So let's just make a setting here, or tips and tricks. To quickly switch between profiles, click on the profile box, keep mouse there, use keyboard arrows and enter to select different profiles. There you go. This will be hopefully useful to anyone watching the video when it eventually comes out. Oh, we have a Twitch. Oh no, the mod worked effectively. Nice. Twitch's mod system works super well. Kick, I need a low bass. Can you tell me when you're gonna roll out some kind of kick related spam detector? I will absolutely require that. Wait. Oh, we went to the top. Oh wait, are we done? Hold on. Okay, at least we found the shortcut so I can in a more fast way. Let's choose. Maybe for this one, I should use like a black and white. Black and white could look nice for a gorilla, right? Or like a desaturated look. So even this is okay. This one's almost good. Kodak Gold 200. This one's not bad if we can make it a bit greener, but I'm kind of leaning towards like, should we go with the black and white option? I don't play with a lot of black and whites. This one's not bad. Okay, this is the one I liked last time as well. Okay, so if we choose this one. No, not this one. This one. Okay, so if we're just to select from the film stock profile, this one is promising except for the color of the gorilla is a bit now kind of like it's a weird greenish, coolish tone. So then the question is, can I adjust for that? I mean, like, obviously I could adjust for it by doing some like custom masking, but then does that take away from using Dehancer? You know what I mean? Because like the way I'm trying to test Dehancer is like, can I use it for all of majority of like my creative look and feel, especially towards the end of my adjustments. So basically, like anything I do here, color-wise, I want it to maintain. Okay, so let's try, because there is technically a section for color head. So for instance, if we choose, let's enable this. But yeah, as you can see, like the problem is it makes like a universal adjustment. So then if I want to do a masking, I would have to do like a manual mask. But then does that take away from Dehancer? I don't know. Yo no say. Let's try. So I'm just going to try to do this manually. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Hmm. I mean, I guess if I correct the colors on the gorilla before we do a dehancer. And the question is, would I have? Let me see. If I look at this guy, do I necessarily see like I need to change the colors on this guy? I mean, it's a bit purple.
Hello, wonderful friends.
What's up, BC? I forget which voice we got going.
Hello,
Oh, yeah.
wonderful friends. Hello, wonderful friends. Hello, wonderful friends. Hello, wonderful friends.
Oh man, that's gonna get old very quick. Hold on one second. Let me go to my TTS monster. We're gonna change it up. I guess I'm not in the holiday spirits for too long. Or if they have another Halloween themed one, we'll go for that. What's going on, BC? Happy Tuesday. Happy 83rd day of the streaming journey. Wow, we've made it so far. I'm excited for day 100. Nothing's gonna change once we hit day 100. The only thing that'll change is maybe I'll just change my hairstyle. So I'll just let the hair loose. So you guys, it'll be like I'm changing genders all of a sudden once we hit 100. Okay, let me find a Halloween themed TTS voice. Spooky? Is that the one we're using? Okay, that's what we're using. SpongeBob. Trying to see if they have like a Trickster. Is that a Halloween thing?
It was the first time he had...
So loud. Who's Tom Nook? Witch? Oh, there's a witch voice.
I like to look at paintings while eating garlic, ice cream.
Nope. Xi Jinping? Yo, that could be funny.
书是随身携带的花园. China is such an amazing country.
Oh my god.
Grape jelly was leaving.
I can feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it. I can feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it.
Okay, we'll go with that. We'll go with the weekend. BC said, met a new photography streamer last night and his reaction to my work was hilarious. In what way? What are we talking about here? Hilarious in a good way. Wait, let's join your heist. Oh wait, no, it's too late. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so today's a bit of a later stream. I started like an hour ago, maybe, and I'm gonna end probably in about 2 hours or so. So shorter stream, but basically I'm just focusing on a number of clips that I've identified for my upcoming Dehancer review video. So got a bunch of these guys lined up, and I'm just trying to see, like, how does Dehancer look across all of them? And so while I've tested out Dehancer on a select few projects, like our Mongolia episode 2 and my chimpanzee documentary, I haven't like done a full stress test across like a bunch of different shots from different travels, right? So this will be actually like a genuine learning curve for me as well to see like, where do I see Dehancer works well, where does it not? So one of the current situations I'm running into where Dehancer like kind of works, but not like the effects that I'm looking for. Is there's like some. Let me just disable some of these guys. I think like there's some things where if I want to, how do I say this? The look and feel for this particular shot, I didn't find one in particular that I like so far. I haven't combined all the steps yet though. And then when it comes to doing a bit more refined color adjustments, that's where maybe Dehancer doesn't fully do what I need it to do. We'll see. We'll see. So for example, let's say if we choose from original shot, if I choose this profile, it gives me the darker green, but it's still kind of warm green. So maybe that's not the right one. You sent the clip of his reaction? All right. Oh, Cyrone sent me a video. How we filmed a music video in an abandoned mine with the Nikon ZR. Interesting. That's a cool concept. Wait, Cyronius, where did you send it? Or I don't see it. Okay, anyways, let's keep link in chat. Oh, I see. I missed it.
Okay. You should have mentioned that part. This is crazy. Dude, I don't know anybody that does plane to plane.
I like this guy's setup. Yo, that's like that's a very normal reaction to have based on what you do. I also don't know. Do I know anyone that does like the aviation photography? I don't think so. But I mean, obviously, it's super cool, man. Like I said, at some point, I would love to do like a film project, or at the very least, go out there to get some of those shots. Actually, that could be a fun film project. Okay, maybe we'll go with this one. This one seems okay. Or it's a bit like, it kind of desaturates, keeps it cool. Maybe it's something we can play off of and continue to make better. Let's see. I know I like this tonal range. Go all the way. BC says, I'll trade you, I'll take you up with me, you take me on a wildlife workshop. Absolutely, man. Listen, if I can somehow pitch a project, yeah. But there's no wildlife with the aviation. If there's somehow a way to combine that, that'd be great. Yeah, because like my current thought process in terms of like having a thematic approach to short films or like film documentaries, whatever, production stuff, it'd be like telling stories from around the world where wildlife and people converge, essentially. So showing any of those stories where we see how animals and humankind coexist, and like the unique bonds that occur in different cultures. So that would include like the eagle hunters of Mongolia. That would include the falconers. So like in Dubai, or like in this area, the Arabic culture. It would be Arabian horses as well, let's say, with the locals. It'd be like the dog sledders, right? Like the Norway example. The reindeers and the Mongolian tribe and Norway. So yeah, anywhere where we see like there's some kind of cohabitation or coexistence or some kind of mutual bond that seems to exist between animals / wildlife and humans, I think could make for an interesting like throughput, or like a through line for a number of like film projects. So okay, we're actually getting somewhere with the adjustments I'm making here. So this one doesn't look half bad, because now it's kind of desaturated a bit of the greens in a decent way. It's still a little too warm for my taste, but it's also darkened the footage enough to kind of fit more of like my vibe. So we'll just see what else we can adjust to continue. Obviously too dark. Yo, it's Ikidis. Ikidis is back for another round of Yobel prize. Well, thank you for being here. BC says, hold on. You said, I found a photo workshop wildlife-wise in Yellowstone. Yo, Yellowstone is the other, I mean, in terms of like American wildlife locations, it would be like Alaska and Yellowstone. So in Yellowstone, I do want to go in the wintertime to photograph the bison, because there's some really iconic shots where you see the bison covered in snow, right? And so it's like caked in snow, and you get the big ass buffalo styles. So that would be really cool to photograph. And then like the wolves, the bears in Alaska, that kind of stuff. Horses, question mark, says Ikidis. Yes, we are getting to the horses. We're starting with the gorilla, and then we should be getting to some of the horses. Oh yeah, it's already there. That'll be the third clip. Appaloosa, right? Is this an Appaloosa? I forget. I just assumed everything that was spotted is an Appaloosa. But I was actually just hoping you would show up and I can ask you. Although we do have our lovely ChatGPT. BC says, how are you? How many shots did you total yesterday? I think you were at 8 when you left. Oh, did you stream yesterday, Kidis? I know you stream on certain days, right? But I always end up missing everybody's streams. I need to balance it out a bit. This morning was brutal. We ended on 14 shots. That is an Appaloosa. Did you say horses 3 times? I was summoned. I did. Did I use the word 3 times? I think I did. I didn't do it sequentially though. Or, yeah. I didn't say it 3 times in a row. But thank you for, arriving. I was saying... Yeah, so tomorrow... Well, today is a bit of a late stream.
Horses.
Horses, horses, huh?
Horses, huh. Interesting. So that's not enough to summon Ikidis. It has to say it fully, I believe. But, in honor of Ikidis, I'm going to change that TTS voice again. Because isn't there like a BoJack Horseman voice somewhere? Hold on. Yes, there's a BoJack Horseman voice. Let's go ahead and choose that. What kind of horse breed is BoJack Horseman? Actually, that's a question for ChatGPT. Question. What kind of horse breed is BoJack Horseman?
So BoJack Horseman is actually depicted as a thoroughbred. It's not like the show goes super deep into horse genetics or anything, but yeah, he's generally considered to be a thoroughbred horse in the BoJack Horseman universe.
Well, there you have it. He's a thoroughbred. It ruins it when it is said before the TTS voice. I don't know how to freaking turn off that additional voice, though. The suspense was the best part. I don't know where that voice comes from. It's clearly not TTS, right? Because they wouldn't do that. It must be coming from Twitch, maybe. Maybe there's like a setting that I have turned on Twitch. It wasn't on last week. No, it's always been there. It's always like, it always says the line before the TTS kicks in. Ikidis, are you still doing the event? Is that how many more days does that go for? And also, Ikidis, if I wanted to do a horse documentary, where is the best place to go for that? Would it be like Morocco? I do know a contact in Turkey, and like they have all these wild horses in Cappadocia, and he even invited me at some point to go there if I wanted to take like a group to Cappadocia for the horses. But I'm trying to think, where in the world can you find wild horses and make like a nice documentary about it? Event is finished, but I'm busy with orders now. Okay. When you say orders, as in like some of the horse riders will then request photos that you will edit, that's a good business. Kappa where? Kappa who? Cappadocia. Never heard of Cappadocia? Cappadocia is that place where it's like where all the Instagram models want to go, right? With their Insta boyfriends. Because you bring like a super long dress, and then you go up on the hot air balloons. You have these rooftop cafes. Cappadocia's got like a really unique topography. Yeah, Cappadocia is beautiful. I've been a couple times, actually. Okay, I'll figure out how to turn off that extra voice later. Let's look up Cappadocia real quick. But yeah, there are these like beautiful horses there. You're doing the Instagram Reels, says Ikidis. Gotcha. So this is the iconic... is it called the town? I don't know. I don't think it's big enough. Yeah, so it's like a small town, Cappadocia, but it's like a tourist location. And so every morning they've got all of these hot air balloons that rise up, blankets the horizon, the skies. It's a very romantic setting. It's a very, just a very like fantastical setting. And they're known for these very schlong-looking rocks. I have no other way to describe them. But essentially you have these phallic, I guess that's the right term, very phallic shaped rocks. What more to say? It's a cool place though. But yeah, you can imagine all of the Instagrammers come here for those beautiful shots. You chill on top of some of these rooftop cafes with these, like sometimes they'll wear the long dresses. So you either go up in the hot air balloon, or if you can't afford it, you chill in the cafe and still end up with a better shot in some ways. But yeah, so in Cappadocia, there are some wild horses. And this is what I want to see. Ikeda says, Shillong looking. Yeah, you know what? Listen, I couldn't come up with the right phrase. We eventually landed on it. Phallic. That's the term. AKA Shillong looking. Yeah, so they have these like wild horses in Cappadocia. And I want to go there because you can get these like really cool shots where they kick up all the dust. So then you have like these really cool silhouettes and like the scattered lights coming through. So this would be a really fun place for me to like hopefully spend some time and do like some film work. So I'll add it to my to-do list of like a bunch of people to reach out to to see like, hey, could I spend like a week or two here and like film things, document it, and could I do it for free by any chance? Yeah. Anyways. Okay, we were supposed to be editing some footages here. So I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow, just as a quick update. I have a cool event happening tomorrow. So I alluded to it before, but basically Nikon is putting on some event at one of the theaters in Dubai. And they basically invited all of the creators who were able to shoot with the Nikon gear and whoever else But basically, they're going to be showing my film on the big screen. So that 5-minute documentary film that I made, it's going to be on like a theater screen. How cool is that? So hopefully it turns out all right, because yeah, I I have no idea what to expect. They asked me to export the footage in like a certain format, like a DCP, DCI, something, you know, 2C, 2000 something, rotoscope, XYZ. And I don't know actually if it looks good or not. So I'll just be going in there blind. They told me to dress up nicely. I don't have any nice clothes though. Hopefully I have my wedding suit or whatever ready to go. But yeah, so then tomorrow I'll just be at the event all afternoon. So you guys will not be able to see me tomorrow. The shame, the sadness. Ikeda says, awesome, congrats. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate it. What are we doing here? Oh yeah, we need to choose. So I kind of like this glossy paper look just because it adds a bit more like dark, like, you know, it's like a bit darker in tone. Obviously it's a little too dark versus, let's see, Kodak. Now this one has like such a unique look to it. Obviously it changes up the colors quite drastically where it's like none of it looks real, but it is a nice creative look, I will say. But probably doesn't work too well for like a wildlife shot. Because like for wildlife, generally speaking, you kind of want it to mimic nature or like something natural, generally speaking. And here this feels more like a very, very uniquely creative artistic shot. So I'm not sure if this one would work. Also, let me skip to the, oh, I forgot to do this. Let's go to the perfect frame. So I want to use a moment like this, where we get the nice yawn. Okay, so looking at this, what do we think about the colors here? I actually think the colors here are really cool. It's like super cool. Just, I can't get over, it's not like necessarily the most natural looking, because obviously you got these different shades of green on some of the grasses. But it looks interesting. Walking in wearing a Canon shirt. You know, you're not invited, man. Although I did see every so often I'll see the same footage show up, but I think someone else has done the same idea where someone dressed up as a Canon camera and then they would literally take a photo while they're walking the streets. There'd be a flash, and then when you look at the backside of them, they had a big ass like LCD display or whatever, and you can actually see the photo that was taken, and then there's a little QR code so people can scan it and take it with them. I thought that was a brilliant idea. The only thing that's wrong with that suit was obviously it shouldn't say Canon, but other than that, well done. Wedding suit sounds perfect, just don't wear your birthday suit. Oh, okay. Listen, you got to give the people what they want, right? And as someone now streaming, I'm technically I am entertaining for money, right? So give them what they want. Now is a good time to say who asked. Nobody's asked yet for that particular request. Okay, and then let's choose Fujifilm 3513 print film. So also this one looks quite nice. I don't know which one I prefer. This one's got a bit more flat of a look, but the green tones are a bit more green, right? So this one's a bit slightly cooler. This one's slightly warmer, but richer. But I think we can adjust for the richness later. We can also adjust for the colors as well, technically. Which one do we prefer? I technically prefer the greens on this one the most. So actually, I feel like I'm leaning towards this Kodak Endura glossy paper. Whereas these guys are a bit more on the creative side. This one's on the nicely dense greens. So I think, okay, we'll use this one. But I need to lift the shadows. BC says, I'm just saying, since it's a Nikon event, no one wants to see any schlong looking objects. Yeah. Please use phallic from now on. I'm gonna ban
Schlong looking.
Schlong looking.
That's not his voice, is it? I need to finish BoJack Horseman. I think I only watched like the first season or so, but I've always heard good things about it. I generally like those kind of shows where it's like kind of on the depressing side. Yeah. Man, I like this a lot. It's just I need to lift the blacks just a bit. Maybe I can do that outside of Dehancer. But I was trying to see if I can do everything within Dehancer. What do I have to do? Lift the black point, maybe? Lift it there. Maybe in the film compression. Yeah, the colors look really nice on this now. I guess I don't mind it being too black. Yeah, I need like a focused one. So I don't think I can use Dehancer for this particular adjustment. Which is not the worst thing. Obviously, I have other nodes that I would use. So then here, for example, we would go into what? Our primary node. And I would just need to lift the blacks. So one of the methods would be, I guess, just lifting this. But it's not doing as much of an effect as I'd like. And then the other option is we just lift the curve just a bit. I think this is fine. Okay. So then here's our first example using Dehancer. And actually it looks pretty nice. I am pleasantly surprised. So basically we did all of our color grading except for just lifting up the blacks at the end there using Dehancer. And then I'm going to apply the... what am I going to apply? I'm going to apply the grain and the emulation stuff, the film emulation in a second. But one other step I need to take is... slow it down. So this is shot in 60 frames per second. Let's go ahead and change the clip speed to 40% speed. And we're going to chop off a bunch here because I just want to focus on the yawn. So from like roughly here until the end. Look at the rich colors. Yo, I'm excited. Looking good edit-wise. Thank you. Yes, it's looking great. I'm liking this. So this is all shot with Dehancer. Get a beautiful yawn here. The reds look good in the mouth. Very vicious. Juicy. Okay, looks good. So then, the next thing I want to check is, we're not done with you yet, Dehancer. I want to see what does it look like when we start adding some of the film grain. So for example here, now we've applied the 35mm grain. Generally speaking, I think everyone seems to agree that 35mm is like the type of grain that is the most pleasant. It seems like everyone, I don't know, all the videos I see, everyone seems to converge on 35mm being the go-to. Let's ask ChatGPT though. Amber, whoops. I'm still testing out Dehancer, and I'm curious, what is the consensus around film grain, halation, and bloom, and film damage when it comes to which profile is best to use? So for example, is it the 35mm, maybe like the ISO 250? Is that the profile for film grain? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely a great question. So the consensus is that if you're going for a kind of classic cinematic look, a lot of people do like using something like a 35 millimeter film grain profile. And yeah, around ISO 200 or 250 is pretty common because it's noticeable, but not too over the top. So it gives you that nice texture without making it look overly gritty. As for film damage, that's usually a personal taste thing. Some people like a subtle bit of dust or scratches for that vintage feel. Others keep it clean. But yeah, the 35 millimeter ISO 200 or 250 is a pretty popular go-to for that nice balanced grain.
Okay, now you've described this to me before and I've forgotten the differences or what is halation versus bloom. I can only speak to it visually. I've noticed that the halation effect tends to kind of add a glow to anything that's red or close to red. It will just add a bit more of a red rim around certain subjects. Whereas bloom, it just lightens it up or, adds a glow, but not necessarily in a color, just more like brightness.
Yeah, you've actually got it pretty much spot on. So halation is that effect you see where, especially around highlights, there's kind of a reddish or warm glow around the edges. And that mimics the way that light would sort of bleed on real film stock, especially in those warm tones. And then bloom, on the other hand, is more of a general soft glow around bright areas, and it doesn't necessarily have that color tint. It's more about adding a kind of dreamy, blowing softness. So yeah, halation gives you that reddish rim, and bloom just kind of gives you a soft glow without a particular color. You nailed it.
But what is halation supposed to do, I guess?
Yeah, so the idea behind halation is really to mimic what happens on real film. When you shoot on actual film stock, especially with strong highlights or bright lights, some of that light kind of bounces around in the emulsion layer and creates that reddish glow around the edges. So adding halation digitally is just a way to give your footage a more authentic film-like character. It's kind of one of those subtle details that makes it feel like it was actually shot on film rather than digital. So it's just a nice little layer of realism and a bit of that nostalgic vibe.
Okay. Generally speaking, I feel like maybe I don't want the halation effect on this shot. It doesn't look bad on the mouth because obviously it's got a lot of red. So anything that kind of makes it glow or a bit stand out, that's great. The one thing I don't like is this one little leaf patch that's on the gorilla's arm. And then here you see that glow, that red glow around the leaf pretty distinctly. And I feel like it's a bit too much, right? Everything else looks good. It's just that red circular glow around that one patch of leaf. Because then it just draws the eye there. It just, yeah. So that would be the one reason I would say for this shot, I probably would turn off halation. Because then it's just a bit more neutral. Otherwise, we'll keep the grain effect. We'll keep everything else. But the grain is obviously a creative choice. So I think in my product review, I'll show with and without the grain and the bloom effects. So just kind of showing how can you use Dehancer if you just want it for color grading. So if you want a creative look to your colors, here you go. So besides doing the color correction on my own separate nodes, we basically did 99% of our color grading within Dehancer. So here's our first successful example of using Dehancer. And I want to see how to also download this. Or basically, the other thought I had is we're going to generate this as a LUT. And so then as part of my review video, I'll provide access to any of the LUTs that I created. So you can have it for free. In case you're a Dehancer user, and it's here you go. But I don't know how to do that yet. So we'll do that as a final step. So let's move on to the next shot. And then the one after is the horse. So Aikidis, hold on to your saddle, hold on to your reins, hold on to your, I guess hold on to your hats works for horse people, right? Like a cowboy. Do people say hold on to your saddle?
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely a phrase people use, especially when you're talking about something exciting or a bit bumpy ahead. Like hold on to your saddle. It's going to be a wild ride. So yeah, people do say that.
I don't believe you. You're saying in common parlance, or like people actually say this unironically? Wait, is it hold on to your horses? Is that the original phrase?
Yeah, you know what? You're spot on. The much more common phrase is definitely hold your horses. That's the one people
Oh. Oh man, I went for a loop for no reason. I forgot, I guess, that the original phrase, I said it wrong anyways. I thought it was hold on to your horses. So then I was like, wait, how can I turn that into something that's horse related? So then I switched it to hold onto your saddle, and then whatever other bullshit I said. In the meantime, if I just went with the original phrase, I guess it was horse related. Well, I never said I was the brightest bulb. All right, so we are. Why did I even say that though? Hold your horses, Ikidis, because we will soon get to the horse videos. Is what I was trying to convey. Yes, I wildly overthought that. Yes, and you know what? Someone asked me yesterday, because we were talking about ADHD and like I'm gonna go to a doctor soon, and whatever conversation we had, but I was like, they're like, I think you were overthinking things, and I'm like, wait, was that you? I don't know who said it, but I was like, absolutely. Here's proof that I overthink everything. Yeah, you actually caught me overthinking as I was thinking. King Kruk, what's up? You said hold on to your saddle, Joe Bell. Yes. Well, we're gonna make that a phrase so that I can save face. Hold on to your saddle, guys. We're almost to the horse shot. First, we're on this shot of, I forget what you call these owls. But there's a particular moment in this shot where you see one take off that I figure we can maybe use. And the rest we don't need. This is shot in 120 frames per second. So let's just chop off all of this. And then let's go ahead. Change clip speed to 20%. And then, let's see, we'll cut it even sooner. Up till there. It's a kind of fun little shot that I took in Colombia of whatever these owls are called. I forget what they're called. Burrow owls, I think. Am I right? Burrow owls. Yes. Oh, no. I was wrong. Burrowing owl. I'm always close, but not cigaring. I'm close, but not cigarette. Okay, so if we take this footage, let's just do our general kind of color corrections first. But yes, welcome King Kruk. Hopefully you're having a good day. Thanks for being here. It's a bit of a short stream, so I started just about like an hour and a half ago or so. And I will be ending probably at around 10 p.m. my time, so like, you know, in an hour and a half or so. So short and stream. Tomorrow I mentioned I'm not going to be streaming. I'm going to some Nikon event. And man, I'm excited because yes, they're going to be playing my video on the big screen. I'll try to take a video. What are they going to do? Yell at me? What are they going to arrest me for recording my own video in the theater? Right? I should be fine. Can you imagine? I guess you could go to jail for that, for like an actual Hollywood movie, even if you were the actor in it. Yeah, anyways, so I'll try to film a bit of it or just kind of quickly share some things. I'll post it on the Discord or whatever else. But yeah, it should be fun. Oh yeah, they gave me like this little golden ticket. How cool is that? I mean, I would prefer money, but as far as, you know, something goes, I'll take a golden ticket. I gotta cover the QR code just in case some sneaky people try to access the thing. But basically, they gave me this nice little ticket that says, yes, it's a Nikon and something else. Golden ticket, VIP, one-time use. And it's like, this golden ticket doesn't take you to the cinema. It takes you to behind the scenes to show you how cinema is born. Nikon is moving in a whole new way, and you're invited to see it first. Ooh la la, fancy. So, truly, I was hoping for what do they call it? The YouTube plaque. Is it a silver plaque or what comes first? That's really what I wanted, but I'll take a gold card or a gold ticket from Nikon instead. All right. Anyways, proceeding. So I do need to color. I need to balance this shot a bit. The brightness is obviously super high. So if we use our new method of adjusting exposures, I'm going to drop this global exposure down until it's a bit more neutralized. Something like this looks good. And then maybe just adjust the curve ever so slightly. So we're going to drop this down a bit. Lift this up a bit. Okay, something like that. And then let's put it on the big screen. It was a fun little moment. So I had these two burrowing owls. So obviously I got super low. And then one took off, slapped the other one in the head, as if to say, come with me. And also the other one took off. And it was just fun because they took off in different directions. So it was just like I'm not really sure what to say. It was just an interesting shot. It all happened in a flash, so not really much more to it. But whenever we get to sharing footage from Colombia, obviously I'll add this to the our montage. So, okay, now that we have this, let's go to Dehancer. And let's repeat the steps. Rinse and repeat. So we start with the film. Let's choose a film profile. Film stock profile, they say. And now we have our own little shortcut. So I just need to click through each one. This one could look nice also in black and white, but let's see. I'm kind of like this one. I don't really care what we do with the colors, honestly. If we go with this kind of desaturated look, I'm okay with that. This is Fuji Color 100. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I probably you know what? We'll still edit this. I was gonna say I don't think this is gonna make the cut in terms of like one of the sample footages that I dive into. But then again, I'm thinking I'll make a montage of like all of these clips that I end up using Dehancer on. So yeah, we will. I am gonna properly go through each one of these. Do 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 do. This one's interesting. Huh. This one stands out to me. Maybe it's like the blue tones in the sky. Yeah, it's like, how do I say? I guess I've never considered these colors, or yeah, it's like it just stands out unexpectedly, but kind of works. So I'll keep that in mind. It's the Orwo. Because otherwise, a lot of these are kind of neutral. Like this one looks good too, right? It doesn't do anything fancy or crazy. It just sticks to the colors you would expect to see. So there's nothing wrong with that. Same with this one. In some ways, I kind of like this one in a desaturated way. So I'm leaning towards this one the most. Role CN. Whoops. All right, so let's go with this one, the Role CN200, and we'll keep it neutral there. For film developer, let's enable. Maybe increase the contrast slightly, but color boost. That could be nice, although I was kind of going for a desaturated look. So adding color may kind of take away from the effect I'm going for. So yeah, maybe we won't play with the color boost. Let's stick to a desaturated look. Then, oh, let me also, before I forget, we're going to create a separate version. And then let's just make sure. I'm going to rename this one Dehancer Test. Because basically, once I make my Dehancer video, so off stream when I record this, whichever ones we end up working with further, I need to replicate everything I did. So I want to create a separate version so then I can have a clean version and do my best to try to recreate whatever we did here. Okay, so we're on film compression. So let's see what we want to do here. So my understanding with film compression is just kind of compresses the highlights and the shadows together, essentially. So it kind of squeezes or sandwiches your white and black points or whatever. And I guess you can see that in the curve here. So it's like kind of squeezing it all together. Or actually, yeah, in the waveform as well. And you can see it visually where the super bright areas are getting kind of condensed or compressed to be more in line with the rest of the image. Which is apparently supposed to mimic a bit more of like the film look. So let's just try to go max. Why not? White point. Alright, we won't change those. Color density I usually like changing. So let's see. This one not seeing much of a change though. So alright, next step, expand. Here, I think I do want it slightly darker, like that. And then the white point, let's try to, it's too dim. Something like this. And now let's get to our print profile. So we're going to choose between Fujifilm, Kodak, or glossy. I kind of like glossy because the glossy tends to add like a bit more darkening effect to things. So honestly, I think I'm leaning towards glossy on our first two examples here. And then let's just adjust a bit. Yeah, we're going to add a bit more contrast to this. Color density. But I might try to desaturate a bit. Yeah, so we're going to desaturate just a bit. Not sure what to do on that one. I still feel like I need to lift the blacks just a bit. So we'll do that in one of our nodes here. Looks good enough, and then let's turn on the film grain, halation, and bloom. Let's check it out again. Actually, for that one though, I don't think I want the film grain, mainly because if you look at the original footage, it's got like really nice bokeh You got this nice compression. You got this nice like smooth, blurred out foreground and background. So for me, like adding in that film grain kind of defeats the purpose, or like you're adding it and it becomes much more obvious because you just have so much clean space. So then all that noise just is like in your face. Whereas like when you have a very busy scene, I feel like adding the noise in some ways kind of helps occasionally, like blend the shot together. Whereas here, I think it just stands out too much. So yeah, we're going to go without the film grain. I'll still enable the halation and the bloom. Otherwise, I think we're good. So we'll call it done on that one. I need to figure out, okay, let's ask ChatGPT. Is there a shortcut button that I can press so that I can see a before and after on my video clips within DaVinci Resolve when I'm in the color tab? Please tell me.
Absolutely. In DaVinci Resolve, there is a really handy shortcut for that. If you're in the color tab and you want to see a before and after comparison, you just press the / key on your keyboard. That'll let you toggle between the graded version and the original version super quickly. It's really useful and it just helps you see exactly what changes you've made.
I'm not seeing it. I'm in full screen. How do I do it when I'm in full screen? What do I press?
Yeah, so if you're in full screen in DaVinci Resolve and you're still in the color tab, the / key should still work to toggle that before and after. But if for some reason you're not seeing it, sometimes you might need to exit full screen just to make sure everything's toggling properly. But yeah, that / key is the go-to shortcut. It should work even if you're in full screen.
All right, I need you to check your facts because you're horribly mistaken. Please research and let me know what the real answer is.
So actually, a more accurate shortcut for toggling the before and after in DaVinci Resolve is to press Shift and D. That'll let you turn the grade on and off, even in full screen, so you can compare easily. Thanks for the nudge to double check.
Okay, I know about the... Well, I do Command D. Are you saying Shift D turns everything off? Oh, okay. So wait, does Shift D turn everything off, and then Command D turns off the particular node that you're on?
Yeah, exactly. So Shift D is like your master switch that bypasses all the color grades, basically turning everything off at once so you can see the original clip. And then Command D on a Mac or Control D on Windows will just toggle the individual node that you're currently on. So Shift D for everything, Command or Control D for just that one node.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know how long I pressed some random buttons, so I don't know how long I was on the wrong scene, but we got our gorilla shot. Doing the yawn in slow motion, 60 frames per second, slowed down to 24 frames. Then we got the second one here. Just a very quick scene as we see the burrowing owls take off in different directions. And now that we learned this new shortcut, I just do Shift D. Now we can see the before and after, although that's a bit too crazy of an effect. So I guess I'll do Shift Command D. So this is before Dehancer, this is after Dehancer. Same thing here, this is before Dehancer and after Dehancer. So this one is definitely the winner for me. This one is just like a slightly creative choice, but it's not like the most exciting shot. So, you know, it's kind of there, but not really much to do with it. This one, it's got our Appaloosa, but it's probably not the best footage for the Appaloosa. Nothing's going on here. I just selected it just because I wanted to see how Dehancer would work in a super like overexposed scenario. But I forgot really... Ultimately, before we hit Dehancer, we're going to be doing our color correction stuff first anyways. So for example, I would be dropping this down such that it's not in that overexposed area. So it'd be something more like this anyways before we get started. So I'm not sure if this is the best example to use, just because nothing's going on. We just got a Appaloosa side-eyeing me, and anything else? Oh, and then another horse comes through. Another Appaloosa, I believe. Appaloosa. Yeah, so let's get rid of this one. But do not fret. We have another horse clip lined up. We got a bunch of them, actually. So let me first reverse this. This might be our money shot, depending on... Because we got the horse coming through. Doing a nice little trot. Look at that trot. Alright, I kind of want to start with this one. Yeah, let's start with this one. It's a cooler shot. And it's in 120 frames per second, so let's slow this guy down. And should we start from the beginning? Let me see. Yeah, we'll start from the beginning, although we'll probably end up cutting it. Change clip speed to 20%. And let me also make sure to stabilize both of these guys. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, yeah. I forgot. I didn't forget, but I didn't go to the gym this morning. I was contemplating if I should, but I think just because it's the first time I'm going in like over a year, I figure I should probably have at least one day in between each gym session, just to give my body a bit more time to recover. So since I went yesterday and I did deadlifts and like a bunch of back exercises, I was like, okay, let's take today off. Although I'm not feeling as sore anymore. Like the first couple sessions, my God, the body was just felt like on the verge of breaking. But I think I'm over that. So it should mean I can do like consecutive gym sessions. So yeah, we'll be aiming for 3 to 5 every week. Super excited. Maybe you every day. Okay, let's first stabilize this footage as well. We got our troopers over here. Kimbap just readjusting. Oh, nice. He recognizes his name. Yes, Kimbap. I'm saying your name. Good boy. Good boy, Kimbap. Yeah. And we got Amazon Kitty over... Where's my hand? Over there. Good boy. Okay, so we've stabilized the footage. Let's go ahead and just do some quick color corrections. Dun. So generally speaking, it's not much needs to change, but maybe I'll just drop the exposure slightly. Something like this. You can probably drop even more over here. Let's find a safe amount to drop. Obviously too much, but I'm just curious. I want to see what it looks like. So we're going to drop it by like 1 stop-ish. And it still looks serviceable throughout here. Because this area for sure I want to keep. So let's color correct for this area. Like this. And then test out Dehancer. Let me check something real quick. All right, we're good. So same thing. Let's just chill. Let's see what we got with Dehancer. Let's go with the film stock profile first. My God, I'm so happy I discovered this shortcut. So my... Can it reach? I just realized my keyboard's about to die. But I don't have the cable. Come on. There we go. Okay. Okay. Crisis averted. Alright, so we're just going to check out a bunch of these different profiles. What do I want for this shot? I feel like I should be leaning into the warm tone because it is sunrise. And you got this like wheat field or whatever you call this kind of grassy, or yeah, I don't know what you call this. Wheat field? So then it looks nice when during sunrise because it kind of looks like it's on fire almost, right? You get this nice glow. So generally speaking, I feel like I should maintain a warm tone on this image. But I can almost see how a cool tone could work. But like, what do I know, you know? I need to take like a color grading class. Or no, I need a master color theory class. Otherwise, we're just going off feels. We're going off vibes. I guess this could be one of those where like if you do like, what do they call it? Like the teal and orange look? So we have like a bit tealish on the sky and then orange on the ground. That could be interesting. Black and white could also look interesting on this. Maybe. Kodak Ultramax. I'm not sure. Was there a clear winner? I wanted something that maintains the warmth, and we could change it here, obviously, right? So we have the ability to do it, but sometimes I just kind of want to see if can we go with the simplest approach. Can I just choose one of these film stock profiles as is and work off of that? This one doesn't look bad. BC, you gambling the big bucks. Oh, nice. Worked out for you this time. This time. Let's do a heist. Let's join your heist for, what did I say? Is today day 82? 83? Oh, shoot. What day are we on? Day 83. Okay, I think I like something like this. Obviously super dark, but we can fix that. There we go. I think something like this looks nice. Before we commit though, let me just see, does that hold true for everything? If I just drop the push-pull effect. This one's kind of in line with what I'm looking for, but how do I say this? Let me think. Because I kind of like the tone of the grass, but it might be slightly too peachy. I'm not sure. It's like less golden and more peachy in color. And then the horse is a bit too dark, so I'll have to lift that. Man, not my day. It looks like I lost a bit. Okay, so that's all of them. I'm not sure how to feel about these options. I think the one I like the most I could go with like a black and white look. Put some Western music on in the background. BC says almost back to 70K. I feel like were you at 70K on last stream? I feel like this shot almost could work for black and white, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Because obviously, oh yeah, let me think about this. Because when you're in black and white, obviously your eyes get drawn to the mist a bit more easily. So there is an argument to be made that if we work with the black and white for this one, it could actually be better, possibly. But like also, I shot this during golden hour, so part of me always feels like you should kind of maintain the colors that you get. I'm not sure. I'm kind of torn. I can see an argument both ways. I just like generally don't do a lot of black and whites. This color looks more creative. Maybe we go with this one. This could be interesting. Alright, you want to duel me? You want to duel me, player? What do I do? Exclamation mark? Accept. I accept your petty challenge. Ugh, typical, typical. Come at the king, they say. Okay, I'm not sure how to feel about this one. There's an argument to be made that using this kind of color grading could look nice, just to have like a bit of cool tone in the top and then warm tone in the bottom if we play with it. So let's explore this just to try something new, because like generally speaking, I wouldn't usually do something like this. I feel like I would have leaned more towards another option. Let's just quickly see what the other option was. I think the other option, this is called Astrum Color Negative 125. The one I was eyeing earlier was, which one? Something like this. Okay, so this was the one I was kind of leaning towards. Very dark and broody, but it was maintaining good contrast and like warmth in the grass here. And now that I see that, I kind of want to stick with this one again. But maybe I should try the other just to try it, you know? BC is down to 65,000. So this one doesn't look bad either, but I feel a little bit like I want to challenge myself a bit with different styles. So let's go back if we can. What was it called? Astrum Color Negative? Was that the one? Jeez, I don't even remember what I think it was this one. So let's try this one. So basically what I'm aiming for is, can we keep like a bit of the tealish color on the sky and then maintain a bit more warmth and darkness on the grass. So let's go to Film Developer first. Let's boost the contrast. Now let's take a shot when it's like walking, so we have a bit more of what we want. So for like a moment here. Color boost. Ooh, there we go. So it's adding some warmth back in. It's a little too much, but we'll see. Film compression. Here, I don't know if I want film compression, because part of it is like, I want the glow on the tips of the grass to stand out. So I'm going to drop that compression a bit. And then let's see, what do we do with the color density? Same thing, probably. I want a bit of that density there. Or the tonal range. Density didn't really do much, so we'll not worry about that one. And then let's go to the next step, expand. I don't want the horse to be pitch black. Okay, so let's say if we go something like this, and then the only main thing I need to double check though is the, let's lift the shadows again. So again, it's quite different from how I normally would be color grading this, but there's no harm in testing this out. So basically, I just want to see like what would it look like if you have a bit more cool tone in the sky, and then a bit more warm tone on the ground or in the foreground. So one thing I'm noticing is it definitely makes the mist stand out a lot more, because obviously now the mist is like coming off as the same warm, bright tone against like the cool colors of the horse and the background. So that's kind of interesting. I didn't expect. Look back this way. Yeah, so I do like that contrast there. Now, one of the main issues, we'll see if it's actually an issue, is that the horse is a bit dark. So let's see. And now the horse's mane, I guess, stands out a bit more, because obviously it's catching all the warm colors. Yeah, it's an interesting edit. It's like definitely more unnatural. But I'm open to it. I'm open to it. I still feel like I would prefer the style I would have done, which is just, it would have been like a single tone, just basically like a committing to like a warm tone versus a cool tone. But it's like, it's not bad. It's not bad. And then let's see if I apply, let's see what we can change with the colors here. I'm going to see if I can make it stand out a bit more. Okay. We've made it quite wonky already. I feel like this is where the phrase "lost in the sauce" kind of comes into play. I feel like I'm lost in the sauce here. I think I've gone a bit too far with the craziness. Let's just continue though. Let's just try out adding the film grain, halation, and bloom effect. Okay, now it's looking kind of nice and fairy tale-y. I don't mind this actually. Okay, we'll move on for the sake of moving on. I think it's like okay, not the best, but like it's interesting. So I might still come back to this and do like a separate version, but at least we know it's there. I'm gonna skip this one for now, or let's just copy and paste over the previous one. Actually, this one looks much cooler from a distance. Interesting. I actually like that one a lot. The only thing I'll do is let's just make sure to stabilize. And let's slow it down to 20% speed. Let's check it out. For some reason, this one looks a lot better, or like I feel much happier with this. The same edits, right? I just applied it to this shot. For some reason, I really like this compared to the previous shot. I wonder why. Obviously, the composition is different, all, but. Dun, 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 dun. Dehancer test. All right, now we can move on to some people shots. So, which ones should we start with? Let's go with something cool. Okay, let's go with this one. We got dude puffing away on his cig. So let's go to a moment here. This is shot in 120 frames, so let's same thing. We're going to slow this bad boy down to 20% speed. And let's go ahead and stabilize it. Dun, 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 dun. Good boy. Good boy. All right, let me take a quick cat break. Let's move this thing out of the way. I think I should be able to get rid of. Oops. All right, I'll take care of it later. I think there's like that one little thing on the overlay. I don't think is needed anymore, but let me just move it to the side for now. There we go. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. Okay, enough of that. Back to business. So the stabilization's complete. Let's now do a bit of a color correction. So we just need to drop this down a bit. Let's drop the global exposure. All right, that's looking good. Something about smoking that just always looks really cool. Very, very cinema. Okay, so I think colors look decent. Let me lift it slightly, actually. But then we'll drop the curves on it. All right, now that we have that, let's go to Dehancer and start testing it out. So we're gonna go, and this one, because it's like a people shot, now I feel more comfortable being a little bit, you know, more creative with the colors, let's say. Or if it doesn't end up looking natural, I'm fine with it. This one I kind of like. Cine Still 800. Okay, I'm actually very excited. So like, generally speaking, I feel like we've had a number of successes using Dehancer for like my wildlife footage. Basically, when I need something that maintains a level of like natural look and feel. Primarily, I think with the gorilla shot, it showed it the best. But I think probably where Dehancer stands out is just like anytime you want to go a bit more with a creative look. So when you break from what's considered natural. So now that we're getting to like some kind of like artistic shots or like cultural shots here, like a person smoking, I feel like the reins are loose. Is that the right phrasing? I don't know. Either ways. So here I really like this look right now. Fuji Color 100. So it's one of those ones, and you'll kind of get a sense, or I'm getting my own sense of like what my style is. I think I like the desaturated looks that has a little bit of darkness to it. Darkness as in like just like the brightness level. So that this one's not bad as well, but I think I still prefer the Fuji 100. Yeah, because it was slightly darker in tone. Obviously you can adjust it later, but yeah, I think I like that one more. This one has a bit more warm tone to it, which is not bad. But again, I think I prefer when it's like fairly desaturated. So right now we have our winner. This one's not bad either. Kodak Aero Color 4. Something about the colors here look just super clean, like the orange. Okay. Kodak Aero Color. I like this one as well. Yo, we're getting some good options here now. This one's good as well. Kodak Gold 200. This one's nice. So we're okay. I feel like I'm getting more hits with these like well, okay, small sample size. They're our first one we're testing here, but some pretty good ones here. Kodak Portra. Oh man, it's gonna be tough to choose. Konica Minolta. Okay, that's the end of it. So what is the one that I think this Kodak Aero Color. Yeah, this one I think is the winner for me. There's just something about the colors of the orange here that I quite like. And you have a decent blue in the background. So let's stick with this one. Let's drop this. I'm not gonna do much with the contrast just because parts of his face is gonna drop off. Looks like if you don't... Obviously his skin tone is off because I've desaturated it. I just want to see what it looks like. Okay, let's resaturate a bit. Super cool. All right, let's continue then. So let's go to the film compression. I'm not sure what I want with this one, because like in some ways I think having a compressed, there's something about old people, like because they have so much, like they have such stories on their face, right, with the wrinkles and whatever. And I feel like that's where, generally speaking, it's better to accentuate maybe all the cracks on their faces, the lines and everything. Whereas with like models and stuff, you're obviously trying to like smooth out the skin. So I feel like when I compress too much, it kind of flattens out the skin, right? It like makes it a bit smooth. So I feel like I do want to lessen the impact, if that makes sense. What's up, Photo Elite? I swear your bots spam your chat more than a freaking teenager in a text frenzy. Yo, blame that on oh wait, can you blame that on me? Obviously you can. Is there not like are you able to change the timer on it? On the TWCC settings thing? Here, let's see what we can do. What is it? Exclamation mark TWCC settings? What's up, Photo Elite, by the way? Good to see you here. Can you change that? Yeah, I think you gotta take that up to or is there a way to change it? I didn't see it when I was creating them. Core settings. Oh wait, no. Okay. There's a timer interval. I see. How often timers appear? I have it set to 10 minutes. Is that like too short? Here, I'll do 15 minutes. How about that? Or 20 minutes? 20 minutes. Okay. I don't know if I changed it for the right thing, but hopefully I did it correct. You said, hell if I know, I don't use that bot specifically for those reasons, among others. Well, I don't mind having it loop, because I do have a lot of things I need to advertise. So as I'm in the marketing mood, there's a bunch of things that I need to keep promoting, and it doesn't make sense for me to have to manually put it in. I'd rather just have it showing up. I mean, alternatively, I have something show up as an overlay, but then that would also get super annoying, and I don't have enough space on my screen to like put a bunch of random stuff. Oh, by the way, Photo Elite. Yesterday, someone rated us and introduced me to the concept of Pomodoro. And apparently on Twitch, you can do like co-working streams. I didn't know that was a concept that existed. And so from my understanding, it's like, and I ended up downloading some bot, or I have some bot now, where it will allow you to use some custom commands where you create like a task list, and then people in chat can also add their tasks, and then there's a timer that I turn on, and then essentially it's just a co-working session where everyone just kind of sets aside 25 minutes or whatever to get your shit done. I don't know. I'm probably butchering the description of what she said. I didn't know that was a concept in Twitch. But I'm excited to try it out. So I downloaded the thing. It's like an overlay. I just have to figure out how to fit it on my screen without covering everything else. But yeah, maybe it'll help me at least be more productive. Right now what I'm doing is editing my some of my footages from all over the world. So basically, I'm trying to work on my next product review, which is on Dehancer. So as part of me having, like, in order to finish the video, I wanted to see what footages should I use as samples to test out the quality of Dehancer. So I've selected a number of footages from my travels around the world, and now we're just going one by one and testing out Dehancer's effects on all of them. So for example, this is the first one we tested, where basically this is the before, and then with Dehancer we were able to do some decent color grading. I actually like this quite a bit. More impressive than I kind of expected. I think the greens are slightly warmer than I generally go for. But all in all, I'm kind of happy with this. The next shot... Oh, and then obviously we have our moment here where you see him yawning. That little badass look. So this one definitely, I think, will be one of the key ones that we'll use as like a sample footage as I show how Dehancer works. This one, probably I won't, but if I make a montage of like showing all of my footages, you know, edited with Dehancer, I might show that one. This one also, it's like okay. I kind of went different approach with the color grading than I normally would. And it looks interesting. It's less natural, obviously, for like a wildlife shot or an animal shot. But it does make the mist coming out, like the breath does stand out a bit more. And then it's a question of, do I want to maintain the graininess to the shot? I don't know. So this shot is like, okay, but then funny enough, the next shot here with the same exact settings that I copied over, I kind of like it a lot. So that was unexpected, but for what it's worth, the Dehancer effects, same exact color grading settings, but from, you know, a different composition, and the horse is obviously very far back, but I kind of ended up liking the colors there. So that's as far as we got, and now I'm working on the next footage here, our first people shot. So I feel a bit more bold to color grade this a bit more creatively, because I feel like you don't have to necessarily stick to something natural. So right now I've chosen a film stock profile. We're just going through step by step and seeing what we end up with. Photo, you said advertise yes. Spam your chat with it every 10 minutes. Overkill, and on slow days, it just gets shitty. It should be promoting yes, but with the caveat of enough unique messages being sent before it triggers. Yeah, I think I have it set to the max. I think there's like 10 or 15, whatever the maximum setting that they allow for. And then it just like loops between them. But I have no idea also, like, how does it loop? Does it loop one? Actually, I guess I can check, couldn't I? Oh, I guess it just chooses... No, I guess... the thing is also, it looks like I have the TWCC chatbot, and then I have a stream bot from Coffee, which then promotes specifically that coffee thing. And then maybe there's like one other thing that sends something all the time. I'm not sure. But yeah, point taken. I think I have changed it to 20 minutes. So hopefully that doesn't feel as like spammy. So we'll see. What else is going on? So, oh yeah, I'm probably ending. Okay, I'm probably ending the stream in like 10 minutes. So I'm gonna finish this one, and that's probably where we're gonna end things. Just because I need to call it quits a bit early today, and tomorrow I won't be streaming. I mentioned there's a Nikon event, so they're going to be showcasing. How cool is this? They're going to be showcasing my film on the big screen, like an actual theater. So I didn't know that was possible. In my thought process, I was like, okay, I filmed this, whatever, 4K, 6K, but then how do you put it on a massive theater screen? And I guess I never put two and two together, because then I guess if I thought it through to its conclusion, I'd be like, well, either it means you have to shoot something at like some massive 16K quality or whatever the hell to be able to get it onto a big ass screen, or there must be some kind of formatting or something that happens that allows you to take a 4K-ish quality video and then display it on a bigger screen. So my assumption is the latter is true, because either way, they asked me to export my documentary at like a DCI, DCP something. Let me see if I can find it actually. DCI, DCP. There's like a specific resolution and a bunch of other things. Let me see if I can find it though. Oh yes, first I choose DCP, and then it was like this 2K DCI scope, maybe? I forget. Anyways, yeah, and then that gives you like a different resolution, but I'm assuming somehow it then allows you to upscale it to a big ass cinema theater screen. But I don't know. Hell if I know on that one, right? Because this is a first for me. Either way though, I'm pretty excited, because that means Assuming everything looks good, because they haven't let me see it. Obviously, so yeah, fingers crossed. But if it looks cool, it's gonna be on a big ass screen, and hopefully the audio and everything is gonna sound okay. Man, I'm kind of nervous, cause like, yeah, I wish they would have let me go in advance to kind of troubleshoot it or see for myself if it looks good. Cause then if it looks like shit, it's like, damn it. Anyways, so that event is tomorrow, so I will not be streaming tomorrow as we take care of that. Where did we stop? Oh yeah, sorry, we were on film compression. Let's just finish this one out. Ooh, I like the, oh wait, I kind of like this tonal range change. Actually, that looks really nice. Ooh, I'm excited. Photo says it will still feel spammy at 20 minutes if there's not enough unique messages. Like if it's just your bots yelling every half an hour, really no other message, it's going to look like crap to anyone new coming in. Fair enough. But you know what? It's like some days it's like a slow day in the chats, and other days it's fine. So like I'm okay having it be 20 minutes for now. And let's see. Like right now it's a bit dead in the chat, right? Earlier it seemed okay. But I get your point. Oh man, I actually like this a lot. So let me make a note of that. So film compression tonal range is apparently one of the settings that, or one of the features, I guess. Favorite settings / features. Film compression tonal range. Increasing this slider gives very nice effects. Wow, such good English. Increasing this slider gives very nice effects. Anyways, I'll keep this as a note for my scripting. But yeah, actually I liked it a lot. Same with color density. I tend to seem to bring it all the way. So I'll say film compression, color density. I tend to shift it to the right. And then what else? Let's go to the expand. I don't really think I have to do much. Actually, I don't mind dropping this. Let's drop it a bit. White point. Yeah, we are hovering close to the 0 mark in terms of the balance, but or the exposure levels. Maybe I'll lift it just a bit then. Okay. And finally, let's choose our print profile. Yo, this one looks excellent. So this is the 2383 print film. This is the Fujifilm 3513. And this is the glossy paper one. I think I'm leaning towards this Kodak 2383. This one looks hella good. We just rename this one to Dehancer Test. And let's rewind this bad boy. It might be a little too dark at parts, so let me shift the black point back. Alright, let's play this. Photo says, I'm saying the caveat should be 20 minutes if there's enough unique messages. Even stream elements can do that. So it posts every 20 minutes if people have been talking and not just bots. Oh, I didn't know these bots can do that. I mean, yeah, if there's like a bot that can tell you, you know, if there's dead air, if there's dead silence or whatever, do not spam. That would be a cool feature. If you're telling me that the bots these days do that, all right, then, well, I'll need to talk to Low Bass. If Low Bass can add that as a feature, that'd be great. All right, let's check this out. So I'm a big fan of the colors here. Let's see the before and after. So we got before, after. Yo, this one's going to be good for the Dehancer video. Not bad. Not bad, I say. And I guess I can even generate this as my own LUT. Not bad at all. Look at the smoke coming out of there. Oof. Dun, 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 dun. Yo, that is badass. I like the colors. All right, spot on. So this one I'm probably the happiest with in terms of how Dehancer has allowed me to level up or elevate my color grading or the creative look and feel. So, oh yeah, we're not done yet actually, because we can test out the grain effects and all the other stuff. Let's check. But at least here, just from a color grading perspective only, before and after, I think it's amazing. Especially in the smokiness. So once we get that smoke effect, before, after, hells yeah. All right, let's quickly just test the film grain, halation, and bloom. How does that look? I don't always like the graininess, but in terms of the bloom and all the other stuff, I like a lot. The grain sometimes feels just a bit much, you know? So I might turn that off. You know, it's just a personal preference. And also maybe once you export, it just looks slightly different, but I like the clean look for now. Photo, you said 99% of these bots can do that. If Lowbase doesn't have that in his bot, I don't know what. All right, I'm going to have a chat with Lowbase. I'm sure he'll be happy if it's not in there. Or maybe there is a setting, I just didn't know how to play with it. But if there's a setting, that's great. Or yeah, if Lowbase can add that to his... I just want to quickly see. Can I... Okay, anyways, I'm just jumping ahead. Here's the effect. Once we add... Let me jump here. So this one has the bloom and halation effects turned on. What I kind of preferred without the graininess, to be honest. Fantastic. All right. Well, there you have it. All right. So it is now what? 1 minute till 10. This was a shorter stream. How long did I stream? Yeah, just over 3 hours. Yeah, so I do need to cut it short just because I have to go to sleep early. I have a few more errands and things to take care of before the end of the evening. And then, yeah, tomorrow's going to be busy. So unfortunately, I will not be streaming tomorrow. I will stream Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, so Thursday. Oh, and then just as a fun little quick thing, Photo, I think, was I talking to you about this maybe earlier? Either way, one of the quick updates, 2 updates in my life that I'm trying to make improvements on. One of them is going to the gym. So that's been a new constant that I'm adding into my schedule again. So we're aiming for 3 to 5 times a week. I'm just trying to get back into good shape. I have to lose about, I don't have to, but I want to lose about 15 to 20 pounds, which is like what, 7 to 10 kgs, just to get back to like where I normally would have been back when I used to go to the gym regularly and just was healthier. So that's one quick thing that I'm trying to be consistent about. And the second thing is mental health, right? We should always be promoting that. Maybe I'll get a sponsor by BetterHelp. Is that the one that every YouTuber has? But yeah, I don't need to, but I figured let's go to a psychiatrist and we're going to check out to see if I have the raging ADHD diagnosis. And if we do, all right, more power to my drugs, hopefully. And if I don't, more power to my mental discipline that will continue to improve, right? So either ways, those are 2 kind of life things that I'm going to try to take care of and balance with my working and stuff like that. King says, don't forget to hit the gym. Exactly. So tomorrow I'll be going to the gym again. What are we going to do? Yesterday I did, basically my structure at the gym tends to be like a push day, a pull day, a leg day, and then take a day off kind of a thing. So like, let's say if I do well, yesterday I did pull, so it was mostly like, you know, back muscles, biceps, things like that, abs. Then tomorrow I'm gonna do a push day, so it'll be all like the chest muscles, shoulders. Yeah, let's leave it at just that maybe. So the push muscles, and then the next workout will be legs. So then I'll just be doing a bunch of like leg workouts, the typical stuff there. And then usually every other workout I'll do like abs. But my body is so destroyed that I need more time in between to recover. But yeah, point is just keeping it simple but going consistently. So that's about it. Thank you guys. I think today was a quick stream. I appreciate it. I'm super happy with what the Dehancer effects are doing so far. I do have a bunch more. We have like a bunch of footages left. Oh yeah, very last thing. I'm not going to speak too much into it, but I had a lot of people interested, which is obviously good news. Literally over 100 applicants applied to my job posting for being a YouTube editor for me. So that was super cool to see that there's enough people interested. Obviously, they're interested without knowing what the pay is. So that will quickly, I'm sure, weed out a bunch of people. However, the point is that I do have a number of applicants to go through, and there's a lot of qualified people. There's one of them that was in the chat yesterday. Oh my God, like amazing content, very creative. So point is, like, apparently ytjobs.com is much better if you want like high quality, talented editors than what I was dealing with Upwork. I just didn't know at the time. So wish me luck, because now that means I do need to kind of sift through all of these, see if I can like reach out to them, hopefully just get a better sense. Like I already know that there's like incredible talent. Now it's just a question of budgeting and figuring out, do I have the money to pay for the talent? So I'm gonna have to have a hard talk with my wallet here in a second and make some commitments. I don't know. King, you said proud of you. Joe Bell, stay on your grizzy. I've never heard anyone tell me to maintain my grizziness, but I'll do my best. Yes, we'll keep on the grizz. Yeah, thank you, King Kruk. I appreciate it. Thanks, Photo, for the suggestions. So I'm gonna hopefully make some adjustments to my chatbot thing or whatever it's called. We'll have a talk with Low Base as well. All right, thank you guys. I will see you in 2